All right, welcome everyone to today's webinar, Charity Accreditation with the Better Business Bureau, presented by Brett Dewhurst for the Better Business Bureau. Many thanks to our presenter, Brett, for being with us today and to all the participants who have joined in. Please note this webinar is being recorded to share what we learn with the business community. All attendees will receive the link to the recording. Brett will share the presentation with you, then follow with time for questions and discussion. Please use the chat to submit any questions during the presentation. Just a reminder, when others are speaking, please keep your audio on mute to minimize background noise. With that said, I'll turn it over to Brett to start things off.
Perfect. Thank you, Beth. Good morning, everyone. Like Beth said, my name is Brett Dewhurst, and I am with Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. I've been with BBB now since 2021, so just a couple of years. And our BBB is actually based out of Amherst, New York, near Buffalo. I personally work remotely in the Albany area, so I commute up here once every 3 months or so to connect with our team, to reconnect with our charity programs, our community partners, and our organizations. Beth and the Chemung County Chamber of Commerce, you guys are one of our community partners. Thank you for being so supportive of us. I love doing events with you guys, hosting different things either in person or online, and we're always happy to do so for our partners. So this presentation is designed just to kind of give you a bit of an overview in regards to our charity accreditation. And a charity accreditation is very similar to a business being accredited. It's just focused primarily on nonprofits. So the 501c3s, the 501c19s as well. As we're going through this presentation, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to ask at any point. We do have a small audience this morning, so I'm excited to be able to present to you, but I want to make this more of a conversation than an actual presentation. So I'm happy to engage with you at any point as we're going through things. So just a little bit of history in regards to our program and BBB in general. We are built on trust and reputation. That's the biggest thing. We've been founded for over 100 years. Our upstate New York BBB is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. So we're doing kind of a tour of New York State, visiting different areas, different community partners and businesses, and really engaging with our New York audience. Customers really reach out to BBB for assurance on a business or a nonprofit before they do business with that particular organization. One of the areas that we do focus on is we work with consumers who have questions about businesses. If they're trying to hire a contractor or hire a snowplow, we work with those organizations, and we work with consumers who want to get to know an individual or a business before they start working with them. In the last year, in 2021, we had over 2.5 million inquiries. So these are individuals that call in, they have questions about a business, they have a question about a nonprofit, they're just trying to get more information to make sure that they trust the people that they're going into business with. So it's a lot of information. We provide a ton of different services kind of across the spectrum, but to really give our consumers, our customers, and our businesses the best opportunity to reach out and to connect as a community. With Charity Review itself, charity reporting is over 100 years old with BBB. We did get started as a national organization, and we are an international organization, including with offices in Mexico and in Canada. Our BBB basically started our charity review program about 10 years ago, and our program continues to grow. We work with different organizations all throughout New York State. We do cover 48 counties of New York State that range all throughout the Northeast, as well as all the way down to the Albany County and just south of Albany. And then there's also another office, a BBB of Metro New York, that handles the rest of the counties that are south of Albany. So between the two BBBs, we cover all of New York State. Our jurisdiction being all throughout upstate New York, including Albany and north, all the way over to like the Buffalo area, up to the North County towards Montreal. But it gives an opportunity for us to work with a great deal of organizations and nonprofits of all different sizes. Back in 2001, BBB formed the Wise Giving Alliance. Our CEO, his name is Warren Clark, is on the board of the Wise Giving Alliance. It's an organization that works with national charities. So we work with local charities that have their kind of home base here in New York State, but we also have a national program. So for any charities that are kind of based in other states that basically work throughout a multitude of states or countries, we do have the national program that can work with them on accreditation. If a charity becomes accredited in New York, they are accredited throughout the nation. So it's not just a New York specific program. We just focus on New York charities that have their home base here, and we work with them through the process of that accreditation. We can work with charities that are classified as 501c3s or 501c19s. We do not do any reports on college universities, community foundations, hospitals, or any other 501c fill in the blank number here. We focus primarily on trust. That's our number one philosophy with all of our businesses and all of our nonprofits. We find that individuals that are looking to donate money to a charity or volunteer for a charity, a lot of times they'll go to our website, they'll go to different websites to find out more information about the charity to determine if they can trust that particular organization. So part of the actual process of accreditation is really forming that trust with BBB and also forming the trust with the donors, the volunteers, and individuals in the community to make sure that their organization is following the correct set of rules and meeting specific standards that come in place with it. This slide that shows the 20 different standards of accreditation, at first notice, it probably appears overwhelming. For a charity to become accredited with BBB, they do have to meet 20 specific standards. What the process that we have in place is that if I'm working with a particular charity that reaches out, expresses interest in becoming accredited, I will go through this list with any individual that works at that particular organization. And then I'll take about 24 hours or so. I'll review your website. I'll review certain policies that I can find online, and I'll let you know what different standards you currently meet. So I never like to go to a charity and say, you need to meet 20 different standards. I'd rather get information about a charity or a nonprofit and then come back to you within 24 hours and say, you already meet these 14 standards. Let's work on these last 6 and let's complete this process. So the ultimate goal with all of our programs is to become accredited. We are not a pass-fail type organization. If a charity comes in and they're meeting 18 out of the 20 standards, the next part of the conversation is what can we do to help you meet these last 2 standards? So the ultimate goal for all of our nonprofits is that accreditation and to finalize the process in place. I'll read through these briefly. It's a lot of information, and I can send out the links if any particular charities are interested, but it does have our website does have a list of these 20 standards and more information that breaks it down. We do break down all of our standards into 4 different categories. And so governance does make up the first 5 standards. It primarily focuses on the board of directors in regards to a board oversight, making sure that the board knows who your organization is, that you're operating in the correct manner. We do require that there's at least 5 board of members on the committee. They're required to have at least 3 to 4 meetings, whether it be in person or online over the course of the year. And we want to make sure that the board does not have any sort of conflict of interest. So we do a kind of a background check just to make sure that there's no individuals on that particular board that really could correlate or directly affect in a negative manner that particular organization that they're working with. Standards 6 and 7 are known basically as measuring effectiveness. These are 2 to 3 sentence standards. It is very easy to meet both of these. The effectiveness policy basically states that you're running an effective organization, and you can prove basically that your members know what you do, your board knows what you do, and the individuals that are working with you are comfortable with your organization. So standards 6 and 7 are extremely easy. 99% of charities already have these particular standards in place, and sometimes it just takes writing down 2 or 3 sentences to add to the profile to complete those. The majority of our standards fall under the category of finances. So we do require all of our nonprofits to submit annual reports, submit audits, submit a detailed expense breakdown, as well as having accurate reporting. And they're also required to have a budget plan. The nice thing about this is that when we do set up an account with you and we get your profile online for this, we will ask you to submit your information to us, but you don't have to fill in the finances. We'll handle all the financial information. If you simply upload the documents that are required of you, then we'll handle and we'll go through all the finances. So we'll save you a lot of time and effort on that part. The last couple of standards focus on fundraising and information. Standard 15 is about truthful materials. This is one of my favorite standards because it basically means that you are advertising correctly and that information or pamphlets or brochures that you're posting, that you're sending out to your members, have accurate information. You know, it seems like it's a very easy standard to meet. And we just want to make sure that since we're so focused on trust, that your organization is focused on making sure that your standards are met and you're giving the information as necessary. We do require all of our organizations to submit an annual report. And the last couple of standards really focus on information that's on your website, making sure that you have the correct website disclosures that are on there, that you have a donor privacy policy in place. This is important that if your donors are deciding to donate money to your organization, how is their information protected? You know, making sure that you have the standards and that's listed on your website so that their information and their financial information is safe on that. My other favorite standard is the last one, number 20, it's complaints. We work with businesses and organizations. If anyone has a particular complaint about a business, we work kind of on a resolution standard to alleviate any sort of concern that an individual has. We want to make sure that our charities that we work with have a policy in place that if you ever received a complaint under any circumstances, how would you handle it? And so realistically, just having that standard there, it allows to make sure that you have a policy in place and that you have a program available that if you ever receive a complaint, that you know what to do and how to handle it. So like I said, it's a lot of information that is challenging for individuals to look at first and really kind of comprehend. We do have a program online and we do have the website that's set up through BBB that lists all 20 of these standards, and it gives you a bigger breakdown of each of these. So I'm happy to send that over your direction once I send this presentation to you. And I'm also able to answer any questions as you're going through this process throughout the time. Is your nonprofit qualified? There are 3 questions you can ask yourself right off the bat. These are 3 of the standards that most individuals, I wouldn't say overlook, but these are kind of like the starting gate in regards to going through the accreditation. The program expenses, which is under our financial standards. Does your charity spend at least 65% on programming activities? And more importantly, has no more than 35% on fundraising efforts. We do know that during the COVID years, a lot of organizations were not able to spend 65% on programming activities. So we are flexible with these numbers. It's not, like I said, it's not a pass fail, but we do want to make sure that you're meeting these standards and that you're at least close with these particular numbers, given that we're a couple of years out of the COVID era at this time. In addition to that, have you been established for more than 1 year? Have you obtained your IRS Form 990? We do a lot of the financial information and we capture a lot of the data from the 990. So that really is kind of like the gateway in regards to making sure that you're able to qualify for this program. If you have the 990, it's filled out and you had an audit in that particular situation, there's a good chance that you will qualify for the actual accreditation. And then finally, I mentioned it before, do you have a website that contains your physical address and your privacy policies, making sure that your donors are safe, making sure their information is safe. And you do have to have a physical address in New York State for us to work through the accreditation. If you're not in one of the 48 counties throughout New York State, I can send you to any of the other BBBs that they have the jurisdiction to do the charity review program. But just making sure that you're in our particular counties and that you do have a physical address that does receive mail. In regards to how to start the review process, it's very simplistic. Individuals can reach out to me directly. We'll set up about a 30-minute virtual call. I'll walk you through the website that shows the 20 standards, and it shows kind of more of a description of what we're looking for and kind of how to get started. If you're looking through the standards and you feel as though that you're in a good spot, that you think that this is going to work out well for you, then what I do is I set you up a profile on our BBB website. I give you a login and a password, and that's where you'll actually go in and fill out all of your information. So you're able to upload all of your documents into this particular page. Once you've completed with the review and have uploaded everything, we work with a third-party organization out in St. Louis that does the actual review process with me. So 2 of us sit down, we work through the review, we make sure that all the standards are met, and then once everything is finalized, usually within about 48 hours or so of when it's submitted, we can give you a decision or we can ask for more information. It's not uncommon for us to ask for more information about a particular standard. I would say about 90% of nonprofits that apply for the first time, we generally have 1 or 2 more questions, but it doesn't extend the process. Usually it's kind of just a clarification on 1 or 2 things, just to make sure that we know exactly where information is if we need it, and it provides the opportunity for you to get credit as quickly as possible. Realistically, the process is very simplistic. If a nonprofit doesn't currently meet a standard, for example, if your board only has like 2 meetings a year versus 3 meetings a year, that's when it could take an extra 3 or 6 months to make sure that you're meeting that requirement to become accredited. But for the most part, individuals and nonprofits that start this process can complete it pretty quickly as long as you have all of your paperwork in tow and that you have all the required documents as necessary. I'd mentioned before that the end goal for us is accreditation. We don't stop at 17 or 18 standards. If you're 99% of the way there and you're just missing 1 thing, we want to help you achieve that under any circumstance. And so our end goal is making sure that you do get accredited and that you're finalized with that process. we can help you out in regards to a very step-by-step basis. We can work through one standard at a time. We can work through everything at once. It really depends on your schedule. I know that a lot of the nonprofits that we work with are, they're small. I mean, they have 1 or 2 or 3 full-time members, if that. So we do know sometimes that the paperwork can be a bit daunting as we're getting into it, but we are here every step of the way as you're going through the charity review. Once you become accredited, your accreditation is good for 2 years. At the 2-year mark, I usually reach out to nonprofits about 90 days before the renewal it needs to take place. And the renewal process is identical to doing it for the first time. It's simply just logging into your profile that we set up and updating the information. I tell nonprofits that once you go through it the first time, every other time afterwards is very easy because you already have 90% of the paperwork already in there. We save your account, we save all that information, and it's really going in and just updating with a new annual report or any new information that needs to take place or has taken place within those 2 years for that accreditation. Couple of the benefits. First off, this is an entirely free program. There is no charge to accreditation whatsoever. So if you're interested as a nonprofit, you can know basically that you're never going to pay a dime for our charity review. We give you a accredited charity report on our website. It's something basically that you can Google search. It's something that we'll send you the direct link for. And we have the opportunity where if you are interested of using our particular accredited charity seal, it's actually located on the bottom right of this presentation. It's just our torch with the words accredited charity. If you're interested in putting our seal on your website, you can hyperlink it to your profile. So any information that if you want an organization to see that you are accredited and kind of see that profile, it's very easy to hyperlink it. In exchange, if you decide to use our accredited charity seal and you do put it on your profile, we'll actually come your way, take a tour of your facility, and we would love to film a very, basically a short social media video to share on all of our social media, and we'll tag you with all that information as well. So it's free marketing for you guys. We like to see that our charities are doing great things in the community, and we want to support you in any way possible as well. Being an accredited charity, you receive all the same accreditation benefits as being an accredited business. We offer webinars, we do seminars all throughout the year, different educational opportunities that you or your members can take part with. The other thing that we are actually just wrapping up, we just have the results in about a day or so, is we do have an annual program called the Torch Award for Ethics. And as a accredited charity, you have the opportunity to apply for the Torch Awards. It's an opportunity where we offer, I would say, between 5 or 10 different businesses this particular award, where we do see a lot of individuals spend a lot of time on their application, and we do see a lot of businesses that benefit extremely well from receiving a particular award. It's very hard to get, but the process is very easy. And so we love to see our nonprofits in our community go through this process and be awarded. In addition, if you do have any questions or concerns, if you have any comments or anything that you need, my contact information is on the page. That's a phone number that's on there. That's my direct cell. You're welcome to call me. You're welcome to email me, whatever the best way of communication is. But at this point, I'm happy to turn it back over to you, Beth. If you have any questions, Dina or Karen, if you have any questions as well, I'm happy to answer them for you.
All right, thank you. I did have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The donor privacy policy, does the Better Business Bureau provide examples of that for organizations that don't have it?
Yes, we do. So one of the things that the website actually has that lists all the 20 different standards, there's a couple tabs on it that say implementation. And by clicking the implementation tab for each of the 20 of them, it provides you templates, it provides you text language. So yes, we can provide a template or we can provide language for any of the standards to make sure that it matches specific criteria. And
then how long does the accreditation last?
So it's 2 years. So basically, once you finalize the program, we give you the information to say that you are accredited. Your accreditation is good for 2 years, and then it's just a renewal process every 2 years. So it's very easy to renew. It's the same account that you'll use. You just log back in and update the information that's currently in there, and then we can just keep that accreditation going for as long as you continue to renew with us.
All right, great. That's all the questions I had. Did Dina or Karen have any questions?
Yeah, Drew, I have maybe a couple. Does it matter which type of 990 you file?
No, it doesn't. So it's the different forms are kind of based on the size of your organization. So as long as you have the 990 filed or as you have an audit that's appropriate for the size of your organization, we can use that to handle the finances.
Okay. And do you find, like, I'm involved in an organization that comes to mind, and the biggest hurdle they're going to have is their physical address. Does that happen a lot?
So the benefit of the program is that we do have, it's a national program, which means that regardless of what state an individual is in, we can get them accredited. We don't run into that problem very often. We're not looking for example, like if you have a mailing address and like you have something that's basically mailed in New York State in the 48 counties, we can work with you. It doesn't need to be that you have to have like a physical building basically of which you operate out of. We know a lot of nonprofits work out of the home, and that's fine. But as long as you basically have a New York mailing address, that can qualify as a physical address. We work with a lot of national charities that, for example, some charities that have different offices here in New York State, their headquarters could be in DC or Philadelphia. And so it would be that particular BBB that would handle their organization because that's where the headquarters are. But any organization that's headquartered here in our 48 counties is under our jurisdiction. And so we can work with you through the process.
Once somebody's, okay.
Go ahead, Dina.
Once somebody is accredited, what kind of support do you offer for the next 2 years?
Sure. So for the most part, we offer basic marketing opportunities where we have different programs and seminars that are online to assist you in social media, to assist you in different marketing needs. We're pretty hands-off in regards to assisting you with your particular organization. But if you have questions, concerns, if you want advice, if you want basically to have a conversation, we're more than happy to help out. A lot of individuals and a lot of nonprofits use this as an opportunity for themselves to market themselves. With the accreditation, by utilizing that particular seal, you're proving to the community that you're trustworthy and that you're transparent. By completing this process and by having that profile online, the profile provides information about your finances and about your organization. So if donors are looking to donate to your organization or they're looking to volunteer or support you, by having that accreditation, they are more likely to donate because they feel as though they can trust that particular organization. So realistically, at the end of the day, that's the biggest benefit. It's just having that seal that's available that says you went through a very rigorous process. You're a trustworthy organization and consumers and donors can trust you.
That makes sense. What about the complaints that would maybe filter in through you? Do you handle them? Or
we do. So if you had, like, for example, if an individual had a complaint about your organization and you needed assistance, you can call our team and we can assist you and work with that individual. If it's a situation where you want to pass it off to us, we can happily take that particular complaint and we can work with them directly. We try to resolve any complaints that come in. So we provide a kind of a mediation type tool, if you will, that we can work with you in that particular individual to alleviate the situation. The biggest thing that complaints have and what occurs is online reviews. The biggest thing that will occur basically is someone, if they have a complaint or something, they may not call you, they may not say information, they may just post something online on your particular profile or something of that nature. And that's something that we can work with. We can't remove complaints, especially if they're not part of our organization. For example, that's like posted on social media and that sort of thing, but we can work with you and we can work with that individual to at least alleviate the situation as much as possible.
oh, great. Okay. Thank you.
Karen, I think you had a question too. I saw you pop off the
Yeah,
mute.
so I don't really have a question. I think we are like 90% there on all of these points.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to get started. The one thing that we haven't done for about 5 years is create an annual report.
Okay.
So I think that's the biggest hurdle
Okay.
for us. So I think we're really close on all of this.
Oh, that's perfect. So
Yeah.
Karen, if you just want to send me an email or if you just write my number or email down, I'm happy to get you started with it.
Okay.
Once you, I don't think I mentioned this, but once you actually do start the process and like we set up your profile, we give you 90 days to kind of implement all the information into the system. So like what you were just saying, like you feel as though that you're 90% there. Once you basically are feeling comfortable and you feel like you can complete the remaining requirements within 90 days, give us a call. We'll set you right up for it. We'll get it started.
Okay. Sounds great.
Perfect. Dina, any other questions that you had?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Well, Beth, thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, I'm happy to connect with any of your members at any point. Dina, Karen, if you have any questions after today, you have my contact info, and I'm happy to connect and kind of get you guys started through the process.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
And
Definitely.
Thank you.
we'll share the link to the recording with everyone later on. You can share it with your colleagues. You can visit chemungchamber.org to register for upcoming webinars or educational series, or find recordings of our previous webinars. We have a couple upcoming this month. Actually, this week we have an in-person one, navigating governmental funding. And then next week, right now it's scheduled for the 21st, but looks like we might have to move it a day. But there's going to be a webinar on 2023 labor and employment law updates. For anyone interested in chamber membership, please contact the chamber at info@chemungchamber.org or call 607-734-5137. Many thanks to Brett Dewhurst with the Better Business Bureau, and to everyone for joining us today. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye,
you
everyone. Have a
too.
good day.